Hey guys, it's Tim with BleepinJeep. A few months ago I did a walk around of my white Jeep, and I mentioned that I didn't like how this tire was off center on the rear bumper because it obstructs your view when you're looking over your shoulder, switching lanes on the freeway or trying to back up on the trail. So I'm going to center it, and I'm just now finally getting around to that. So today I'll be cutting off the mount here and just moving everything over a few inches just to center that tire. That way I have equal visibility on this side and that side of the window, because right now I have good visibility here and almost none on this side, and that doesn't do me any good when I'm sitting on this side of the vehicle and I can't see. So I'd rather have a little bit of visibility on both sides than a lot of visibility on the side that I can't see out of. This video will also be a review and test of a Hobart welder. I just bought a Hobart Handler 140. I've been employed as a welder for 2 years now, and I've been able to use really high-end equipment, mostly Miller welders at work, and a lot of thermal arc products too. And all those do really well. I don't expect it to weld like a $8,000 or $10,000 machine, like I've been able to use at work. But I hope it welds good, and we'll see how it does. It says it welds up to 1/4 inch. This is probably 1/8 inch, I'm not sure, but we'll find out. All right, well, let's cut this thing off and move it over. Bigger wrench. Now that the tire's out of the way, you can see the structure better. There's a really nice gusset system on this receiver to hold that spare tire up. And all throughout the bumper, there are actually some really good welds. Warren did a good job on this bumper for sure. I'm going to center this post with the latch right here, and that's my center mark. And then I'll use my third brake light out of frame there to align the top and make sure it's straight. And this doesn't have to be perfect. You're never going to see back here behind the tire, so plus or minus an 1/8 inch, that'll be fine. Warren also made these bars here at exactly 45 degrees, so that's kind of nice. All right, well, we'll get all this cut off, and I'm going to cut them about an inch above where they are welded to the crossbar right now, because I'd also like to bring my tire down just an inch. That'll make it easier for me to get it back on. And I have another idea too that will also help with that. This is a 2-inch tube. So to accurately mark my layout where these need to be cut, taking my slide square here and moving it to 3 inches, which will give me the 2-inch tube plus the inch that all these bars need to be cut at, using the scribe here. Okay, we got that, and then I can just slide it down and do the rest of them here all in the same spot. You just need a mark. And then I'll grab a speed square and make that line a little bit more visible. But that's how I'm going to get my accurate 1-inch mark, so that should keep everything straight so it doesn't end up cocked or anything. I ended up transferring these lines all the way around. That way when I'm cutting with the zip wheel, the cutoff wheel, I'm able to have more of a guide, more of a reference around. That way I can tell if I'm jogging up or down more easily. And I see on the screen there my left eye looks particularly red. It is. I got flash burn pretty good at work from welding, tacking actually without a hood, which is commonplace. It got me just right from 2 tacks. I think wearing safety glasses like this that are UV resistant actually helps a lot. I was not wearing safety glasses when I was tacking, and I just caught 2 quick tacks with a steel MIG welder, and it got my left eye good. So be careful. Wear your hood, wear your safety glasses. And get these 2 welds cleaned off real quick with a flap disc. That way I don't have to do it later. And the rest of this hopefully won't need too much cleanup. I have this post cut and one more section here to cut. On something like this, it's a good idea to use a wedge of some kind, like a screwdriver, and just put it in there, because when you make this cut, all the weight from this is going to pivot down this way because it's still welded on the far side. And if you're in here with your cutoff wheel and this sandwiches it, it'll bite. And I haven't actually had it remove the grinder from my hands, but it can definitely take you for a ride and can cause a dangerous situation. So you want to make sure you've got some kind of a wedge in here that prevents this from falling down and pinching your grinder. I'm about to make the last cut on this, and it should be ready to come off. By the way, the best welding shirts that I've come across are from Goodwill. And when I first started welding, I bought some, I think it's like flame retarded Dickies welding shirt. It's like a pearl snap, extra thick. That thing, it was like 40 bucks. It lasted 2 weeks. This shirt, yeah, it's hammered, but I've had this thing for over a year. I bought this one from Goodwill for probably 5 bucks. These cotton long sleeve shirts, 100% cotton, are really good. And I have leather sleeves too that I wear when I'm welding, if I'm doing a lot of welding. But man, best bang for your buck for sure. Goodwill cotton shirts. All right, let's see if we can get this thing out. All right, here we are. I have my new welder hooked up, and I tried doing some test welds with it on 1/8 inch. And this is the same thickness as the bumper that I'll be welding back together. But I had the machine turned to its highest voltage range, the 5. And this weld here I did with the machine set to the specs on the weld chart. And I've never seen that, but it didn't even get through the mill scale on the steel. So that's kind of crazy. But after I turned it up to the setting for 1/4 inch, double this thickness, you know, it was able to make some pretty decent welds. So hopefully we'll get this to work out all right. So I have this tacked in place where it's going to go. And there's some pretty decent gaps here just from cutting it with the zip wheel. And normally I wouldn't be concerned about filling a gap like that with the Miller welder that I would use at work. But hopefully I'll be able to fill this, and that'll be a good test for this welder too. All right, well, let's burn it together. This welder definitely isn't forgiving for having a little too much stick out. So getting the nozzle, you know, into that V was difficult. I ended up doing 3 passes with it. I did a root pass, bottom, and then top, and it'll work out okay. I'm on the fence about this welder. This is all 1/8 inch material, and I'm welding it with the welder set to its maximum voltage output. So I'm not sure how they rate it at welding 1/4 inch single pass as its maximum thickness, because this seems like, to me, maybe 3/16 would be its absolute max. I'll keep trying it, and maybe I'll change my mind. doing the 3 passes in there, it definitely welds solid, but it sure takes a lot of energy to get in there and lay them down. Alright, so here's my spare tire carrier, relocated on the swing arm, welded back in place. And early in this video I mentioned that this would also be a review of the Handler 140 welder. I don't feel like I've used it enough to review it. I thought maybe if it really exceeded my expectations, I'd be able to rave about it. It did not exceed my expectations. As I mentioned in this video earlier, I've been very fortunate to have had the opportunity to use high-end equipment at work. And I also said that I am not expecting this welder to, weld like an $8,000 or $10,000 machine. But it didn't impress me, to say the least. But I don't want to make it a definitive review until a little further down the road, and maybe I'll do an actual review just on it. But meanwhile, I don't think that's going anywhere. It should be able to hold my tire fine, and it did the job that I needed it to. All right, let's put that tire on and see what it looks like. There it is. That looks pretty good. All centered up. I like the way it looks a lot more. I completely forgot to weld my license plate holder back on before I painted it. So I'm going to put that on real quick, and I'll be in business. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. I was hoping to make this a little more educational, or a little more of a review of the welder. It didn't work out that way, but in the future we will for sure have some more welding videos for me, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.